The Arts Hour on Tour is in Rome, exploring Italy's new wave of creativity. Joining me on stage at Teatro Italia, I have incredible guests. Two filmmakers, Margherita Vicario and Paolo Stripoli, will have live comedy from Luca Ravenna and music from rapper Megna and from Levante, whose band you're hearing now. Rome is a city pulsing with creative energy. The Colosseum, the Pantheon's perfect dome, Michelangelo's Sistine Chapel at the Vatican, the epicenter of Catholicism, Puccini's operas, the theatricality of painter Caravaggio, and filmmakers like Fellini, Antonioni, and Pasolini all remind you that creativity here has always grown out of power, faith, and spectacle. Politically, the country's lived through Mussolini's fascist dictatorship and since World War II has had over 60 different governments. In 2022, Giorgia Meloni became Italy's first female prime minister. Let me begin by asking all my guests here on stage how Italy's backdrop of art and history shapes their creativity. Filmmaker and musician Margherita Vicario, how does the city and the history of Rome influence your thinking?
Like to walk between the streets of Rome, it's like to be in a theatrical set. So it's very inspiring because it's very beautiful. Rome, it's like an open-air museum. It's full of monuments. You can really imagine stories and characters just by walking through the streets.
Comedian Luca Ravenna, in what way does Rome feed your comedy?
Kindness is the first word that comes to my mind when I think of Rome. Kindness and good manners. That's the way. No, I mean, it's a tough city. It's a rude city. I'm not from Rome. I'm from Milan. The people here are way funnier than where I come from. So that's how I've been shaped as a comedian.
Okay, thank you for that. Filmmaker Paolo Stripoli, you're originally from Bari in the south of Italy. What drew you to Rome?
Oh, I came here to study cinema. Then I fell in love with this city because it's beautiful. You can walk around in Rome and you never feel alone. It's like a friend.
Megna, I know that you began your career as a rapper and musician in Rome.
I'm from the south. I'm from Foggia. It's a city in Puglia. And Rome also had a big rap scene. I met a lot of people that inspired me and teach me.
And singer, writer, artist Levante. You were born on the island of Sicily. You now live in Milan. You are going to perform for us in a moment. But first of all, I wanted to ask you about your relationship to Rome and with Rome.
I think my connection with Rome is purely emotional. I'm a nostalgic person. I think this is a nostalgic city.
So what are you going to perform for us?
I'm going to perform Niente da dire. In English, is yeah. Thank you. In English, is nothing to say.
Levante, the stage is yours.
Non aspettarmi, no. Non torno a casa per cena. Mi mangio i gomiti da sola. Cerco un problema che non c'è. Forse solo un giorno no, e solo un giorno no. Sono quelli sommati che si son fatti mentre ci hanno allontanati. Sei così invisibile qui tra i miei pensieri ed è strano ma in effetti niente da dire. Fermi sulla lingua guardo di là, ci sembrerà di stare meno male se ci cantiamo un tenero addio su questa musica, su questa musica. Ed è strano ma in effetti niente da dire, ferme sulla lingua, le mie parole si sciolgono nel nulla, chissà perché. E scusa non vorrei farti soffrire, non so fare finta, le mie parole si sciolgono nel nulla, chissà perché.
Levante.
Thank you.
Brava, thank you. And there'll be more music from you later in the show. Wherever the Arts Hour travels in the world, we take a journey around the city we're in with a creative who can show us artistic and cultural places that mean something to them that we wouldn't necessarily find. We call this the Culture Cab, and my guide here in Rome was comedian and podcaster Daniele Tinti. Ciao, Daniele.
Ciao.
Where are you taking me first on our Culture Cab?
So the first stop has to be the Stadio dei Marmi, Stadium of Marbles.
And what is it?
So the Stadio dei Marmi is a stadium surrounded by statues of nude men made out of marble.
Oh, yeah.
It's pretty impressive. It's quite beautiful. It was built in the late 20s, early 30s, and it's very fascist looking, and it represents the strength of Italians in the mind of Mussolini. I don't think they look like us.
In general, this whole area has fascist architecture, very different from the Rome that I know.
Everything around here is very fascist.
But so how do people feel about it?
There's, I would say, mixed feelings. Sometimes we have debates about taking down the obelisk at the entrance.
Which says Mussolini
It says
Duce.
Mussolini Dux right in front of it. What I would love for us to do is to build something new. We stopped building something great, something new a long time ago. We should start doing it again, but with a new focus on how different we are from fascist Italy.
Well, it started raining. I'm glad we're back in the cab. Where are we going now?
We are going to Piazza Santa Maria in Trastevere, which is a lovely square in the middle of Trastevere.
This is Piazza Santa Maria in Trastevere.
Yeah, that's great.
Thank you. But why are we here? I mean, it's beautiful, like so many squares in Rome.
So this is in the middle of Trastevere. Trastevere is a historical neighborhood, and it's one of those neighborhoods that's been filmed in so many movies and TV shows a lot of times.
Why do Italians love crime drama so much? I mean, I love Gomorrah, for example, the film and the series.
We have so many TV shows that, and also movies and documentaries that talk about our history, and our history is a history of crime sometimes. So I think that's why.
Thank you, Daniele. What a gorgeous morning.
Well, thank you. I had a lot of fun.
Shall we take a coffee?
Yes.
Let me ask my Arts Hour guests here on stage what they think about Rome's fascist architecture, monuments to Mussolini, for example. They are protected as cultural heritage. But, I mean, do you have thoughts on whether they should be recontextualized for new generations to understand? Margherita, what about you? How do you feel about the fascist areas of architecture or monuments?
I think they're just buildings now. I mean, I think it like that. And also of course, like Eur, it's a neighborhood. And I'm with a lot of respect for people who live in Eur, But we that live in Rome, we don't think that it's really Rome.
So
It's-
that whole area
it's-
has that brutalist architecture.
Yes, a brutalist architecture. It has something very monumental, and so it's not warm like the rest of the city, which is a little bit, dirty and warm and with people in the street. I feel it like a little bit of the cold part of the city, but it's my opinion.
Luca, what about you? What are your feelings about that area, or even just about any monument to fascism that still exists?
Well, now that they are up, maybe we can just keep them. It's part of our country. I don't know how to say it. That is, I don't like it. But this is the end of the. Yeah, I don't appreciate it.
Thank you, Luca. Okay, but the other thing is, I would love to know from any of you here about an iconic television series shot or scene or something from a film that's truly captured your city of Rome. What is that and why? Anybody? Somebody
there.
over there. Perfect.
I'm Greta. I'm a fan of a kind of scooter which is called Vespa.
Yes.
So I have La Dolce Vita by Fellini.
Yes.
And I also found out that there's a kind of Vespa which is called Dolce Vita.
Can I say one?
Mekna.
Yeah, it's me. I would go back to the roots and say something like a TV series of the 90s, I think. Un medico in famiglia. And Cesaroni.
Hey, Cesaroni!
And Cesaroni. It was our Dawson Creek, I mean.
Yes.
By the way, un medica in famiglia means a doctor in the family.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Wow.
In Italy, like the big entertaining is about doctors, police, and cocaine. Like these are the three
Okay.
big,
Thank you all so much. Paolo Stripoli is part of a bold new wave of Italian filmmakers. He's known for his horror films, and his latest is The Holy Boy. We follow Sergio, who moves to Remis, a remote village. So each week, the village gathers around Matteo, a reclusive 15-year-old believed to be an angel because he has the power to take away their pain if they hug him. As Sergio becomes closer to Matteo, he discovers the darkness at the heart of Remis and within the boy that they call their angel and saint. So, what inspired this story? And what does the boy Matteo mean to you, Paolo?
Of course, the core of this story is the character of Matteo. He's a teenage boy with incredible powers. And this story is about how you cannot tell a teenage boy what to be. So it's about a boy in a cage. Everybody calls him a saint, a miracle worker. And he's just a teenage boy who wants to find his own identity, his sexual identity as well. And this is about the danger. If you put a teenage boy in a cage, eventually it will break out.
So, there's been a suggestion that the film might be partially autobiographical. How so?
Oh, it is not. Of course, I mean, it's the first time I say, and I'm saying it during a BBC show. But yeah, I was in love with my bully at middle school.
Your bully?
Yeah, il bullo. Yes. Oh. So yes, this is tough. This is spicy. No. This is embarrassing.
No, it's not embarrassing. It's really vulnerable and wonderful.
Yeah. Just like Matteo. Yeah. And I felt like an outcast, like Matteo is. But unfortunately, I didn't have any power. Nobody called me a saint, luckily.
So this was your way of reclaiming that and explaining to the world what can happen in some way.
Yes, of course. When I want to tell a story, I try to tell something that speaks to me. And the story spoke to me. It's about how we live, how as human beings live our relationship with those kind of emotions we don't like to feel, like pain, suffering, grief. And I try to speak about characters I know. I think I know Matteo very well because he is similar to me.
Paolo, why do you use horror to get to some of these truths? What is it about horror?
Okay, because horror is entertaining and is spectacular. So you watch a film and you're entertained, it will stick in your mind, but you get to watch something that at the end speaks to you.
So, is The Holy Boy in any way a critique of religion? Because we have the whole village wanting this teenager to perform miracles and take their pain away, take their suffering away. So it feels religious to me. And also, I was thinking that earlier this year, Pope Leo XIV canonized that 15-year-old boy, Carlos Acutis, who was known as the cyber apostle. And I just wondered if people have drawn any parallels with your story.
Yeah, a lot of people, but I didn't think about it. I mean, it is not a film about religion. It is a film about the use that people make of religion. Religion can be a compensation device for those kind of emotions I talked about earlier: pain, suffering, grief.
But could it also be about that collective need to believe? Because that whole village needed to believe in something.
Yes, because we all need to believe in something. I think everybody should try and find something to believe in, but it shouldn't be an obsession.
There's a deep tradition around the paternal figure, or il padre in Italy. You have il papa, the pope. He's the moral father figure for some people. There's the literal father at home. There are civic fathers or village elders and patriarchal archetypes, even in, say, a mafia don. How does your film... Why are you smiling?
No, because, of course, when you talk about Italy, mafia is just a big word that comes around very often.
Yes. How does your film explore the father and son relationship?
I think this film tells one simple thing. Father should never try to decide for his son. And Matteo's father pays this mistake very dearly in the film.
Thank you. And Paolo's film is The Holy Boy, or in Italian, La Valle dei Sorrisi.
The Valley of Smiles.
Perfect. Thank you. Paolo Spicoli, thank you. Okay, comedy. Luca Ravenna is known and loved in Italy for the sharp, ironic style of his stand-up comedy and for his viral podcast. Okay, so Luca, before you actually do your set, are there any taboo subjects in Italy? Any subjects that you just don't touch?
Well, we're pretty free as comedians. We can say almost whatever we want. What I think is a taboo in Italy, when somebody like in your family does a favor to put you in a position.
Oh, nepotism.
Nepotism. That's fantastic.
Okay.
Yeah. It's a false friend for our friends in Italy. Yeah,
I see. Okay, so you don't make jokes about nepotism.
No, I mean you can, but I mean,
it's dangerous.
everybody steps a little back because everybody has relatives, and
That's good.
this one, and of course, cursing about God. That's something we cannot do, as the law says. We can do it, but we cannot do it. But it's part of the same as fascism. I mean, you cannot, but people do it anyway. So that's how it works.
Okay, this is interesting. And Luca, is there a north-south divide in terms of, could you go to the north and make jokes about them when you are from the south or vice versa?
Oh, yes, you do. Yeah. Yes, you do. And it works very... that's the funniest thing that we have in our country is that we hate each other in 50 kilometers. And the souther and the norther you go, the more differences you can find and spot and make fun of.
Okay, so your hugely popular podcast with Edoardo Ferrario, a fellow comedian, is... It's called Kashmira, un podcast morbidissimo. So does that mean the softest podcast possible?
Absolutely, yes. Yeah.
So is that an ironic title?
Well, of course it's ironic. I mean, we were making fun of wearing cashmere as a sort of way of living your life. And cashmere is what I'm wearing right now, actually.
Luca Ravenna, the stage is yours.
Well, good evening, Rome, and good evening, world. Feels so strange to speak in English in front of an Italian audience. I feel like I'm the English substitute teacher who's trying to be funny and... So, yeah, no, the world. We are here in Rome. We are talking here in our beautiful country, Italy. And the world is now on the verge of the Third World War. But are we worried? No, because we're Italian. We are not. Our allies might be worried because, everyone knows that we start the war with someone and then we just go on the other side. We are very good in convincing somebody who's a bit insecure, like an Austrian guy, you want to come to war with me? And then you go to war together, and then you just destroy it. So yeah, I've been living in Rome, 19 years I've been living in Rome. This is half of my life. Nobody talks about Rome, actually, in the world, besides when the Pope dies or when there's the Jubileum, and that's it. But even if we are so full of tourists, amazingly beautiful tourists here in the city, people who you can hear, like when they're walking down the Colosseum, you can hear them say, I can see the Pisa Tower from here. I can say racist things about the Americans because they are richer than us. So that's a rule that I just invented. I just enjoy so much when I see these tourists. When they try to enjoy the Italian experience, like the real Italian experiences, like paying 150 euros to build your own tortellini in the morning, and just do stories in front of what they think is the chef who is trying to help them. Oh my God, I'm so happy to be here doing my tortellini, living the real Italian experience. I'm here with the chef, and the pleasure that I find in watching this guy from Bangladesh who is pretending to be a Roman. It is so lovely. But yeah, also of course, Rome is the Vatican. Rome is the center of the world for the Catholicism, which is the greatest of all religions. I was raised Catholic just because I'm Italian, and I loved it. I enjoyed it a lot. It's a strange religion, if you think about it. The first confession, I don't know if you remember what you did when you did the first confession. It's a strange moment in your life. You're just a kid, 7-year-old kid who had never done anything in his life, who is put into a wardrobe with a 60-year-old man you don't see, and you only hear his voice. He's trying to talk to you in a very friendly way, and the voice you hear is, tell me all of your sins, kid. You're just savage. Yeah, I didn't do anything wrong, actually. That's not what you're here for. Tell me your sins. I want more. You're just a kid. He wants more. He's an adult. He's asking, so you start to build things in your fantasy. And I remember the very first time I did my first confession. I maybe exaggerated a little bit, and I said, you try to remember. So maybe once I said a bad word to my mom, actually. Thank you very much, Ron. Thank you very much, Nikki, for having me.
Luca Ravenna, thank you so much. Do you really not like these tourists? Do you think they are stupid? They think they're looking for the Leaning Tower of Pisa when they're in Rome?
Absolutely, yeah. And absolutely, yeah. And if you heard the way I was trying to mock the accent,
yes,
it was a very precise country in the world.
I heard it. So I've got a question then. I'm interested in if there's a contempt for tourists. If you had friends or family visiting Rome as tourists, what's the one thing that they should experience culturally in this city, and why? What would you want them to experience? What about you, Paolo?
I would say food because I love to eat, but I try to come back to when I was a student and I was just arrived in Rome, and me and my friends used to go to the Pincio Terrace to see the sunset. The sunset from there is beautiful.
I love that. Thank you. Anybody in the audience got a cultural recommendation for this city of Rome? Oh, I can see a hand up here and a hand up there. Oh, everybody wants to be a tourist guide.
Hi, my name is Julia. One thing that I found was the best thing to do was to visit monuments at 2 to 3 a.m., so at night.
Wow.
And some of the best are the Pantheon and the Colosseum at night. You can't go inside, obviously, but with how quiet it is, and there's no people. Hopefully after this, there will still be no people. But there's this kind of lighting that makes everything look ephemeral, and it's absolutely gorgeous. So,
Julia, that is beautiful. See some of the monuments by the moonlight. Hi.
Hi, my name is Alice. I'm actually a tour guide.
Alice, the tour guide, everyone.
And I actually work with American groups. So my first recommendation is definitely the Pantheon. The first king of Italy and Raphael's tombs are both inside the Pantheon. My biggest recommendation is San Clemente, Basilica of San Clemente, which is a little bit of a hidden gem in Rome. Not a lot of Romans even know about it. And what is special about it is that you have a modern basilica on the ground floor, but then you get to go 3 layers below. So underground. So we say that Rome is a lasagna, you know, made in layers.
Yes, layers. That's so lovely.
So you get to go down to the 1st century AD, and you see the Roman domus, and then you see the older basilica, and then the modern basilica still active today.
That is beautiful, and thank you for describing the lasagna. Thank you so much. Music now from Meghna. So Meghna, Meghna, you are known and loved for blending rap with introspective songwriting, poetry. And rap is so often seen around the world as being quite macho in nature, but your style is quite different. Will you tell us a little bit more?
I fell in love with introspective kind of writing. Thinking about things, relationships, and feelings that I have. And so, yeah.
So the title of your new album is Discord, Harmony, and Other Emotional States. So what are you going to perform for us now?
I'm doing a song from the album. It's called Sognare in Grande. It means to dream big. The chorus is like a reminder that when you have downs in life, usually the answer is inside you. So you have to dream big and look ahead and go on.
Meghna, over to you.
Anche se ultimamente non mi riconosco, ho solo bisogno di sognare in grande. Quando ogni cosa tornerà al suo posto, non lascerò che mi distrugga mai.
Esco fuori da questo club, vuoi venire con me? Doveva anche essere speciale, invece non era un granché. Le cose che ho imparato a volte le scordo perché sono un po' troppo concentrato su cosa pensa la gente. Vengo da una cittadina, un liceo, una fantasia e il tenore basso come l'autostima. Ho visto gente diventare amica solo per la cocaina. Perso dei contatti perché non l'ho mai sniffata prima. Fuori dal giro, parto dal via. Per me eri un bro, non certo uno zio. Ora sei il vecchio della compagnia. Le cose tristi mi rallegrano, per quello ho fatto pace coi miei demoni da un secolo. E non ci credo a chi dice che tutto passa, non basta. Tiro sopra gli occhi la zip della giacca. Non ci guardiamo ma aspettiamo che qualcuno faccia il primo passo mentre guardiamo in basso. Yeah, anche se ultimamente non mi riconosco. Ho solo bisogno di sognare in grande. Quando ogni cosa tornerà al suo posto, non lascerò che mi distrugga mai. E se ci pensi a conti fatti siamo ancora solamente ragazzini e ci proviamo a diventare degli uomini credibili. Alcuni attorno a me convivono ma pochi fanno figli. I matrimoni ancora non riesco a capirli. C'è chi si affanna per collezionare tipe e poi finisce che rimane intrappolato nelle loro grinfie. Questa retorica italiana degli uomini imprigionati dalle mogli e dalle proprie vite mi ha sempre fatto ridere. Pensa che tristezza scambiare una certezza per la libertà di fare una scommessa. Quasi sempre sottiene un brivido di giovinezza e dopo un tentativo timido di una promessa non ci crede nessuno, come non credo agli UFO. Non vedrai mai il futuro finché sarai confuso. Per ogni cosa che non fai dai la colpa a qualcuno. Per ogni colpa che non hai puoi gridare lo giuro. Yeah, anche se ultimamente non mi riconosco. Ho solo bisogno di sognare in grande. Quando ogni cosa tornerà al suo posto, non lascerò che mi distrugga mai. Thank you.
Meghna, thank you. Margherita Vicario is one of Italy's most exciting multi-hyphenate talents, a singer, an actor, and a filmmaker. Her debut film, Gloria, has won 3 David di Donatello Awards this year. Yeah. So that is Italy's most prestigious film prize. So you won for Best Directorial Debut, Best Composer, and Best Original Song. So huge congratulations.
Thank you.
Gloria is set in Venice in 1800 at a musical convent school for orphan girls. It's home to Teresa, a mute maid with a rare gift. She hears the world as music. As the Institute prepares a grand concert for the visiting Pope Pius VII, Teresa and the other young women musicians become this covert, rebellious ensemble whose startlingly modern sound is nothing the Pope or the world expects, and I didn't expect it either. So, Margherita, how did a story set in a musical school for orphan girls come to you?
For several reasons, but maybe the most important was that, I'm a big fan of classical music. And one day I was just asking myself, is that possible that I can name like 12, 15, 20, 25 huge composers in the history of classical music, and I cannot name one single female composer? So that was like a starting point.
So it was trying to find women's voices from the past in terms of music.
Yes.
Classical women. So you had to write them yourself, essentially, didn't you?
Yes, I found this very nice environment. So this institution in the 18th century in Venice, that there were these huge places between orphanage, convent, and conservatory, school of music.
And they really existed.
They really existed. All the story of the movie is inspired by a real historical context that I also discovered through Vivaldi, because Vivaldi was one of the priest composer that was the leader of the orchestra of Ospedale della Pietà, which was one of these institutions in Venice. And he worked there for 40 years, and he had this huge female orchestra for free. Part of the great success of Vivaldi, that was a genius, completely a genius. Nobody wanna steal nothing from him, but he had this great fortune to have these very huge, talented, big female orchestras. I said, well, this could be a very nice set for a story. Also because nobody knows about the existence of that. I mean, there is like a door which is light open. I can just open the door and put whatever I want in it.
So in the film, there is a new pope being elected in Venice. Now, that's something that usually happens at the Vatican here in Rome. There was a real-life coronation of a pope in Venice, but how did you plan your portrayal of Pope Pius VII?
Well, yeah, actually, in the movie, it's the year 1800, and so in Rome there was Napoleon. You know, it was occupying the Vatican, so this is why the conclave was in Venice.
Yes.
And in the movie, it's just the last scene. He is like a huge identity that everyone knows, and I need to be honest. It was a little quote by Sister Act.
Sister Act.
Sister Act.
Yes.
Goldberg.
There is quite the same frame from the back of the Pope, but at the end, in Sister Act, the Pope enjoying the show. In my movie, you will see if you will see it.
It's quite different.
It's quite different.
But so the music in this film is remarkable. It's surprising. It's anachronistic, so it's out of its time. And you and your co-composer, Davide Pavanello, along with traditional music and choral pieces from that time, created this contemporary sound. There's jazz music, and the girls are performing like nobody would ever have heard music in 1800. Why did you do that?
Because the movie, it's about creativity, and I don't know, for me, creativity is a form of resistance. And so I just did this game. I just thought maybe the game could be that I can give one of these girls my own imagination. In the movie, there are all the games on the piano that are my own personal games when I'm locked in my room and I just play on the piano. So yes, it's all about creativity.
The film is about breaking out from expectations. So how does that tension between tradition and reinvention maybe reflect what's happening in Roman Italian culture today?
I don't know. I mean, Rome, as we said, it's like an open-air museum. It's now it's full of monuments, and sometimes it's a little bit heavy. It's like a very heavy backpack. But I really like when I see that some, like contemporary art exhibitions or something that speak about the present is set in a beautiful, old church. It's still alive and breathing city, but they call it the eternal city because it's like, a princess that is sleeping like the moon.
Well, you woke the princess in this one, that's for sure. Your film also builds this powerful sense of community among women who come from really different backgrounds. So I was wondering what you wanted to say about female solidarity. And maybe even in contemporary Italy, as your film is a bit of both.
Yes, it's as a friend of mine told me when he saw the movie the first time, he told me, it's very difficult to do a movie about friendship. This is what he thought. It was not really about sisterhood or feminism, which is about, but as women, a lot of time we share the same context, and even if we have different stories, because this thing that women's between them, they're envious, they're not like the first enemies of women are women. This is very old. We have passed that. Feminist is about really doing things together. Also with men, it's not about women against men. It's absolutely the opposite.
Thank you, Margherita. Well, hearing you clap, so many of Italy's best-loved creative exports have had a kind of machismo flavor, whether it's about Neapolitan mafia in Gomorrah or portrayal of Roman emperors or the popes. Now Italy has its first female prime minister, Giorgia Meloni. How, Levante, do you think things are changing generally for women in Italian culture?
Thank you for the question. I think we are improving the feminist situation, but we are very far to reach something important for our gender equality.
Thank you all. That is nearly it for the Arts Hour on tour in Rome. My huge thanks to all our guests. We leave you, though, with another performance from Levante. What are you going to perform for us?
Thank you. I'm going to perform Follemente, in English is madly.
So, Follemente means madly. And
Yeah.
what does the song say?
This song is about the end of a love story, but because one of the two guys in the relationship is scared, he or she prefers to go away. I'm too scared to love you. That kind of feeling. That's Follemente. That's madly.
Levante, over to you.
Thank you.
D'improvviso ho preso fuoco il cielo, mi scopre il corpo, sogno è tutto vero, la voce inciampa e perdo le parole. Ciao, tu chi sei, perché